Now we're recording. All right. So, with the 7 quorum, call this meeting to order, and we.
Did something happen?
John, your microphone seems to be muted.
Okay.
All right,
Let's start that again. Now we're recording. Okay. So with call meeting to order, first order of business is to approve the July minutes. Entertain a motion to do so.
I make a motion that we accept the July minutes.
I second.
Second. All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good. And with that, we can move on to our second order of business. I can't see it. Is the financials is the next on the agenda? I apologize, I don't have it pulled up.
Yes.
Okay. So if y'all didn't get the financials, there was an email sent out just a few minutes ago with the financials. If you'd like to check your email and pull that up, if you don't already have the financials, and with that, we'll go to Ms. Bartlett and take a look at the financials.
I guess I'm just here to answer questions. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're at 70% income, 70% of budget on income and 73.6% on expenses, which puts us at a loss for the month. We're under, at this point in the year, we should be at 83%, but since we're under on both, it is what it is. We did get a second quarter hot tax payment in August. So we do have a little bit more than this at this point. Any questions?
We've paid all of the personnel expenses to the city.
Yes, we have. Well, I have not received a bill for July yet. So I haven't paid. There were 3 paychecks in July, but Pam has not sent me an invoice for that yet.
Okay.
We're paid through June.
And so to reiterate real quick, our revenues are at 67% and our expenses are at the 73.6%. So we are behind in our revenues, obviously, for the obvious reasons, but we're not, I guess, really pacing that far behind on the expense side. Is that accurate, Ms. Bartlett?
Yes. I mean, we're just holding steady. We've cut down on some things, obviously. One of the things is in the original budget, the Simple View was supposed to be a $14,000 payment, and Sherry talked to them, and we've got that split into 4 payments. So it'll be spread out over next fiscal year also.
Right.
We only got 1. Actually, that's the way the auditors end up handling this, because it's not really an expense for this fiscal year in entirety anyway. And so they end up making us kind of do it that way in the audit books anyway. So that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Cheryl, can I backtrack on something that we had talked about in the prior meeting, perhaps the meeting before that as well, and maybe it was resolved. I just not clear on it. What did we do? At one point, the city was going to float us for a couple months on payroll.
Right. Yeah. I think Ms. Morgan's going to address that here in a few minutes. That's part of her report there. She did meet with the city manager and Miss Kerbo, and so she's going to inform us on that. And I think that'll answer your question there, Damon.
don't want to steal her thunder, but if we hadn't borrowed that money yet, then even though
No.
we're tracking behind, we're not tracking as behind as I would have expected us to 4 months ago.
Right, currently, but we do face next year, and all indications, and this, Sherry will get into this, and her deal is that we will pace behind in revenues next year, and so we do have to prepare for that future.
The fact that our revenue comes in later, our hot tax is based on, I mean, what we got in August was based on second quarter and it was low. The third quarter will probably continue. So, I mean, it's because our income comes in behind the curve, not ahead of it.
Right, so
we're experiencing last quarter's losses right now.
yeah, so that other shoe is about to drop, so to speak.
Yes, there you go. That's a good.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to put some pearls on there a little bit, dress it up, but we know what it is.
Right. Okay. Very good. Are there any other questions about the financials for Ms. Bartlett?
I make a motion that we accept the financials.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, second by Wanda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Okay, we'll go on to said financials, or I apologize, budget, with Ms. Morgan.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I did meet last Wednesday. I met with our new city manager, Mario Canizares, who's joining us today, and we preliminarily sort of discussed the situation at hand. And since then, we met again yesterday with Pam Kerbo, and he had a chance to watch the city council presentation and probably to take a breath since landing here. And it's still pending approval by city council. However, we have figured out sort of a game plan, and what that looks like is possibly having those things that we reimburse the city for out of our administrative line of the budget, to have the city carry those. And on our end, we go through and we look at all of the discretionary funding that we have and just really pare back, keep our reserve preserved, and look for alternative sources of funding, whether that looks like grants, which I'm actively pursuing and applying for, fundraising, anything like that to make up that deficit that we will be experiencing. But there will be a drastic, we're looking at a reduction of like 183,000 for next fiscal year. And our biggest, we operate leanly. In a great year, we operate very leanly, and our top two expenses are payroll expenses and then marketing. So unfortunately, marketing is going to have to look different for us. So we're going to I need to set up, I reached out to Chris yesterday to start that conversation with him, and we'll set up a time either the end of this week or the very first of next week to discuss a plan moving forward of what we can do to just consolidate our messages in the most fiscally responsible way and efficient way, capitalize those, try to maintain those preferred pricing agreements that we have that we're grandfathered in with, and then also look at cooperative marketing. So that might look like me and Larissa with Nedco and Amy Mahaffey with the city sitting down to say, okay, we've got this full page in Texas Monthly. Is there a way that we can share pricing of that, share the cost of that, and deliver a message about Nacogdoches that could address and benefit all three of those different entities? Because when we market, we're marketing the same product, we're just marketing it to different audiences and with slightly different messaging, you know? And then we also have an opportunity to expand on our philosophy of this hub and spoke tourism, where we hope to garner hotel stays, but we recommend our surrounding communities. So perhaps, you know, before we've had the luxury to be able to front the cost on that and still shine a light on them. But, you know, we are in a time right now that we no longer are in that position financially. So hopefully those relationships that we've built in the past, we can extend a hand and start to get some financial contributions for those cooperative marketing opportunities that we have. But from a print presence, absolutely moving forward this year, strictly because of money, we're going to maybe not, well, no, maybe about it. We will not be as visible as we were in print. But one of the best things about the time that we're living in, and every day you have to really focus on the opportunities that this presents. Digital marketing is becoming very prevalent, and as the technology improves, it provides us more vital information that you hope to get from marketing that is unavailable in a billboard or you know, in a magazine ad. That we can actually make sure that we're hitting our target audiences. We can then look at their behaviors of how they're intaking that information, what devices are they using, what time of day, what's their socioeconomic breakdown. So we can really focus on some of these less expensive marketing opportunities. And, you know, who knows, at the end of the day, we might rediscover an entirely different marketing model that works to our benefit and brings us forward. So it's a fluid situation. We will come up with a budget. The timeline on that is by the end of August, I'll have a preliminary budget prepared to present to you. On September the 1st, the city will present their budget in a virtual city council meeting. And then on September the 8th, there'll be an in-person meeting held at the rec center where I will take our board approved budget to present to council. And at that time, it's my understanding that council will have all the information that they need to decide if what was worked on in that meeting yesterday with Pam Kerbo and Mario, if that is something that is amenable to them and that we can proceed with. And then moving forward past that, on a quarterly basis, we'll sort of check in and see where we are. But it's we are fortunate in that everybody at the table understands the value of tourism and the importance. And it has been the first thing out of Mario's mouth was when we first met was, you and your staff are safe. So we are going to, you know, the last thing to go, I think, is going to be our staff jobs. You know, we have a small staff anyway, and we do a lot of work for a small staff. And so that's going to be rewarded or maintained. Now, if something were to happen and somebody were to be terminated or were to leave their position, then that position would be frozen. And then we look at those, you know, redistributing those job duties. But I'm happy to answer any questions right now. There's still, I don't have a firm offer to give to you because, you know, that it's still, anything would be pending direction of city council. So.
Obviously, I'm going to have a question. I kind of feel like at first it sounded as if, you know, by putting together a budget, we're applying for, you know, the sort of, we're auditioning to be able to have our staff's covered by, do that loan by the city. It sounded as if that and I know that our new city manager's here with us this morning, but you ended by saying that the staff is safe, which is what my primary concern is as we work on this budget. But then you said that the city would decide after hearing our budget whether or not they would approve the loan on payroll. And so I'm wondering, does that mean that we really need to come in with our best, lowest budget first, so that they, and we really need to shave it, or else there's a risk that they might say that they might tell us no on the payroll loan? Did I ask that clearly? I guess what I'm saying is our payroll loan going to be, whether or not we get that payroll loan, going to be a decision that's made contingent on the budget that you present that day?
Well, let me, before you answer it, let me ask that we are going to need, just so everyone knows, we're going to need to have a emergency meeting to meet on the budget before this is presented to council. And Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, we will have what we are going to put before council during that meeting, so we can go over it and look at it, correct? So Damon, to answer, partially answer that is, we will have the information that we're going to go before council with. And I believe that information wouldn't be supplied to us if that wasn't strongly considered to be a doable.
Something that's likely, that is very possible, very likely, and that not to count on, but to look towards.
Right. So I'm sorry, but so Ms. Morgan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there are zero indicators at this point that would not be the case. City Council is incredibly and overwhelmingly supportive of this as an entity and as city employees, and the work that we do and the importance of the work that we do. So it really is just, we're going to take before them a budget that shows in good faith our effort to winnow down to the essential what we need. It's not necessarily, but what we need to do to effectively continue to do our job, because the better we do our job, the faster Nacogdoches as a whole is going to recover in all of this. There's no indicators from any of the players in this that's going to happen. And it's not just payroll expenses, it's all of those items in our administrative line. So we'll be moving our website licensing fee up into that administrative portion of, and it's our legal and accounting fees that cover our yearly audit. It's those items, not necessarily the website, but that would be included in that. But typically, generally you could say it's those items that we typically get billed by the city for and then reimburse those costs, because Mario yesterday had a great explanation of it. Essentially for them on their end, it's paying, moving money from your back pocket into your front pocket. So it is a less complicated way to sort of give us some more time to recover and to make up some of that revenue and carry that loss without being a huge financial burden on the city and take away from the important work that they do in other aspects. So
absolutely. Well, thank you for clarifying that. And really, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that the CVB is going to be an engine of recovery for Nacogdoches' economy as we get to the other side of this pandemic recession situation that we're in. And so, that's my main concern, is that we worked really hard to find you, Sherry, and have empowered you to build your team. And, I worry about the ad buys, but I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to lose grandfathered contracts during this time. But I don't want to lose what's most important to us.
Right. No, and I'm just
does the work. Because if we can be here in March of next year together having this meeting, I think we can bring people to Nacogdoches and we can justify the loans and all of the work that we did to keep this operation together.
Sure. I'm very much a don't count your chickens before they hatch person. I don't even make apologies for it. I was just raised that way. So I try to be transparent and not speak without until a gavel is down on a dais and it says, yes, this is what we're going to do, then I don't want to count on it because I don't want to, in my mind, set that this is how it's going to be and then not be open up to having to pivot at the last minute and be able to adjust accordingly. On marketing, here's how I've, resolved my feelings about it. We know through the travel sentiment surveys that are being done through TTA and TACVB that ads that are actively promoting people to come into your community are not being received well in the public. And that really works to our advantage now so that we can open up sort of our messaging to be more of a, we're Nacogdoches, have a knack for economic development. We have a knack for small businesses. We have a knack for tourism. So it really does allow us to speak a broader message to those specific segments that, it opens us up to more cooperative marketing opportunities.
Well, not to brag about that, I did like that when you were talking about collaborating with Larissa and the potential of using, what Hancock has come up with us, which we all love. But we do have a knack for economic development. We do have we have a knack for a lot of things that I think that translates really well. And I like the idea of sharing advertising opportunities, because I think that our goals of bringing people to NAC for different reasons, but the same things will get them here. The same thing will want somebody to come here for the weekend will make them decide to move their business here, perhaps. But I don't want to prattle on about that, but that all sounds really good, Sherry.
All right, cool, thank you. Does anyone else have any more questions for Ms. Morgan on the budget? Again, we will send out information, but we will have to have an emergency session to go over the budget and things. And so before we go into the next section, Ms. Morgan, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Mr. Mario Canizares, our new city manager. Welcome to the meeting, sir. And also, I'm getting some feedback noise from someone, so let's remember, let's please mute our mic if we're not speaking. But sir, welcome. And would you, I guess, just like to say hi? I mean, I know it's not on the agenda, but we should welcome our visitors with us here.
Sure. Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mario Canizares, I'm the new city manager. Been on board ever since last Monday, so well tenured here in comparison to, I'm sure, all of you. But I'm happy to be here. It's too bad that it's the discussions are all about budget, and it's not good discussions. It's not necessarily great discussions, but we'll get through this. When I reached out to Sherry last week in my first week here, I wanted to introduce myself to her and let her know that I wanted to meet with her in person if I could, if she felt comfortable with that, because of the pandemic. And then, but also too, just to kind of hear what she had on her mind, and committed to her that we would work through this together and find solutions to the issues. And I know they're hard, but when we met yesterday in person and she mentioned it, that I absolutely told her first thing is my first and foremost is to protect staff and keep them going, because you do have a small group, but they do a lot of work, and it is that front face of Nacogdoches when they come in as visitors to our community. So that's important to council, and so that's important across the organization for our city council, and so I want to adhere to that. And so we'll be working with Sherry, with Pam, and Cheryl. I look forward to hopefully meeting you soon, to go through the numbers and come up with our best foot forward, and look forward to working with you all at your next meeting, and then bringing that same discussion based on your feedback and input to City Council on September 1.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Welcome. And welcome to Nacogdoches, and we'll grow together. So welcome. I look forward to meeting you at some point as well.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right. So with that, let's go on to our next item, and it's Miss Morgan again. So some future revenue generators, and I know you touched on it already, but go ahead and tell us all about it.
Yeah, I have applied for 2 grants. One is 10,000, one is 15,000. And just keeping my eye out on things of those. You know, it's throwing spaghetti noodles up on the wall and seeing what sticks. Where, you know, the field is deep in applicants for these grants, so I'm ever hopeful. But I thankfully had a little career in grant writing, so hopefully some of those will come to fruition. They either will or they won't, but at least we're going to try. We're also looking into our love letters to NAC. Ashley is going to be writing our Around the Town article this week centered on that. And what that is a micro campaign where we solicit from our citizens love letters to Nacogdoches along with photos. We'll be compiling those and hopefully putting those together. The end goal is to put them together, bind them in some kind of coffee table style book that in 2021, when it's our 25th anniversary, that the ideal goal date would be in February around Valentine's Day to tie in with the love thing. We'll be able to sell that as a fundraiser. But I really do feel strongly this idea came from, you know, when we were forming the We Bend Not Break campaign as well, to focus our energies on what brought us here to Nacogdoches originally, what keeps us here, and remind us of the great things that we have and what we love instead of focusing on what we've lost. And I really think that it'll be a great morale booster. Hopefully it will, you know, with the tie into our 25th anniversary, it'll also generate some revenue as well for us. Every little bit helps. And again, just keeping an ear to the ground and eyes open for other outside funding opportunities and revenue generators.
All right, I'm unmuted. Thank you, Ms. Morgan, and we know you're going to continue the search and we will all help in any way we can. But as I've spoke with many of our community partners, everyone is feeling this because it affects everyone worldwide. So we are going to get through this together as a community, and we will come out on the other side strong, and we will work together to continue to build our community and make it strong. And all the partners that I've talked to are willing to band together, and we're gonna weather this storm. This is a bend not break, right? With that, we'll move on to staff reports, and it looks like Miss Morgan's up.
It's the Sherry Morgan Show. Yes. Okay. Just to let you know what I am doing in the community, I have presented in the last month. I presented to both the Tuesday Rotary and the Wednesday Rotary. Both of those presentations were well received. Additionally, I serve on the Nacogdoches Area United Way Board of Directors, and that organization is gearing up with their 2021 hybrid workplace campaign with the theme Better Days Ahead. I am working on their marketing and social media for them in that board capacity, and was doing their Facebook Live. Gosh, was it Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock, I was at Rex Perry Autoplex. So representing the CVB and making sure that we maintain and forge and maintain and nurture the relationships that we have and take care of this beautiful town that we get to promote and represent. So that's something that I'm doing. We have, just to remind everybody, because there's been a pandemic since all of this happened, but in January, we entered into an arrangement with Stephen F. Austin and their work study program to capitalize on an opportunity to get interns through that program. And that would be for 20 hours a week at minimum wage. The university pays 80% of the salary, and the CVB pays 20%. We have 2 applicants so far. And I spoke with Mario yesterday and with John to see if that would be something that we want to freeze or move forward with. The cost is about, I want to say it was like $1,000 a semester. Our part would be, it's very minimal for what we would be getting. And I think everybody agreed that even though we should be trimming down our budget, that this is an opportunity to get some assistance in what we're doing. We can certainly utilize a young, smart, nubile mind. So I think we're going to move forward with that and see if we can find somebody that really fits. If we don't find somebody that absolutely meets our needs, then we don't have to accept them. But this is too big of an opportunity and has too big of a potential return on investment for us to let pass by. And plus that again goes towards nurturing that relationship between us and Stephen F. Austin. The Texas Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus had their annual conference last week. It was held virtually, and so staff attended that in office. And I know we haven't had a chance to sit down since then to talk about it, but I know individually each of them have come to me and shared sessions that they took part in, that they really had big takeaway from and learned a lot from. So that was great. We did submit our Bend Not Break campaign for COVID awareness, which was a new campaign in the Idea Fair. A video, our Eat Like a Local was local awareness, that video. And then in the video category, our travel and tourism video, we submitted that. And unfortunately this year we did not place in any of that, but that doesn't take away the value that it brought to our community. So I'm still really proud of all of the content that we have generated and that we are generating, and that is set to roll out here soon. On the forefront is fall foliage, and because of the summer rains that we've received and Mother Nature has decided to take a break on us, we are set to have a really beautiful showing of fall foliage, and that is inherently friendly to social distancing. So we're going to promote the heck out of that, and hopefully get some more day traffic in here to keep our sales tax dollars up, and do everything that we can to convert some of those into hotel night stays to sort of put some more money in the kitty. And that's what we're doing.
Sherry,
Yes, sir.
in our advertising, and I'll ask this to John also, do you think we should really start branching out and looking at Rotary clubs and Lions clubs and Chamber of Commerce and see if they would do some advertising with us? You know, maybe the university is going to advertise in a particular magazine or the chamber, and say, hey, let us put an adjoining ad or add to that ad.
That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about civic clubs, Dr. Jack. But absolutely.
Well, you know, the Rotary Club has been, and you did a great job, by the way, the other day.
Thank you.
I just can't imagine that they would not want to help us to put the Rotary emblem on our advertising and show that we're friendly in that regard.
That's an excellent idea. I will absolutely pursue that. Okay, that's the end of my report. I think up next is Joanna Temple.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm glad to be back. Well, obviously, I am just rolling in those requests for folks wanting to come to Nacogdoches. Not so. Sherry's put my focus on some other things, and based on the sentiment of travelers, self-promoting our place as far as specials and this and that is not really our focus. However, it does give us an opportunity to prepare for 2021. So we are looking to grow our staycations, and similar to what Sherry also mentioned, that includes our hub and spoke. We want to be more involved with our Henderson, our Kilgore, Longview, Tyler, and East as well, since we are definitely involved in our either Louisiana and Natchitoches community. So that's something I'll be working on. We're also working with the Big Read out of the library. And what that's also done is we've created an opportunity to possibly do a promotion with the airport, given all things that are great. And all the parties are in and support the idea of doing an outdoor venue there for movies, music potentially, utilizing vehicles to be our applause with lights and honks, and having food trucks out there. Again, everything based on can we do it and are we good to go. But as far as the volunteerism that'll come from our Civic Air Patrol, another community organization that'll help with the warm bodies, and it'll be an opportunity for us again to do some fundraising. And if it works, it might be something we continue to do post pandemic. And it'll get the airport involved and on the map, and give them an audience that they normally wouldn't have. So we're excited about that. There's also a new film festival committee, or I should say soon to be board. 2021 is on the map. It would be a May event. It's something that will be geared completely around folks coming in, visitors to Nacogdoches. That is an opportunity I feel that we can grow, and we'll see how that works out for us as well. Meanwhile, we are putting back together all of our specials with our area hotels to be a part of. Every day is Parents' Day, and I'll let Ashley say more about that, but they have always given CVB special discounts. And what this will do is give us an opportunity to update that, not only for the remainder of the year, but the continual years with a lot of our area restaurants, the places that are open and soon will be open. It'll be a new place that folks will be in partnership and drive traffic through our website. So I can talk all day, but I think that's the highlights, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Did anyone have any questions for Joanna? No. Okay, I'll start with my report. So a little bit of news for me. I recently was appointed to the board for Millard's Crossing Historical Village. So I'm excited about the opportunities that might present for co-op advertising. And I'm just excited to be involved with them because they're such a huge pillar of Nacogdoches. And so it just seemed like a good fit. So I'm excited about that. Following up on what Joanna said about the Every Weekend is Family Weekend, Holly Smith with SFA reached out to Sherry and myself and Kelly Augustine at the Chamber about building a landing page for SFA parents, since there won't be an official Parents Weekend this year, which it's now called Family Weekend to be more inclusive. But so since there won't be that one big day, we still want to encourage parents to come visit their kids in school, because we know around the 3rd or 4th week, that's when they start getting homesick. They need a good meal, they need some new supplies. And so we're going to kind of build out some itineraries for those parents and have them on our website. And so we'll have an official SFA landing page on our website. I think it's going to be visitnacogdoches.org/SFA parents or SFA family. Sorry. So yeah, we'll get some restaurant discounts, some hotel discounts, and just kind of find some things that are outside of the box that parents know North Street, but we want to get them off North Street. We want to get them downtown and to the lakes and to the little Airbnbs that we have here. So I'm excited about that opportunity. And like Joanna said, that gives us an opportunity to kind of refresh our relationships with the hotels and restaurants. And just to elaborate a little bit more on the love letters, like Sherry said, that article is going to be in this next month's Around the Town. And then I'll also start a Facebook, Instagram campaign. And that's going to basically be like a Google Doc where I kind of give some prompts, some questions to help people start writing their letters. We want to make it as easy as possible for them because we know not everyone can just put their pen to paper and write for 12 hours like some journalism majors can. So, and we also want to encourage photos. And so I'm really excited about this project. So we would love it if everyone on this call wrote a love letter to Nacogdoches. So I'll be reaching out to y'all about that. And the last thing is we are running low on our general brochure, which is Mike's favorite brochure to give out. And so we are working with Chris Hancock to print that again, but look at ways to save money on it. So it's probably not going to look very different. It's probably going to be about the same, but freshen it up and just kind of take out stuff that isn't really relevant right now, like annual events that we don't know if they're going to happen or not. So, so yeah, that should be happening in the next couple of weeks. With that, does anyone have questions for me? Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Mike.
Good morning. We continue to see road trippers coming in the visitor center from the Houston area, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Louisiana. So that's what seems to be the trend right now, and they love these drive-in one-stop shop things, and they all complement our visitor center. We averaged in July about 165 visitors in per week. A little down from, I think, from June, but everybody seems to be in good spirits. We're wearing our masks and social distancing, and everybody's been very happy to be here and just to get out and do something fun and get out of the house. So that's basically all I have to say, unless you have any questions.
Let me piggyback on what Mike just said real quick, and as some day trippers don't equate into overnight stays, which is what we're here for, heads and beds and hot tax, but many do. And I'll give you a great example, and this has happened the last, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks. Business has really come back, so to speak. I think people are eager to get out. So I started the week here at the Fredonia Hotel, started the week at an occupancy of about 55 to 60% for this Friday coming up. Currently, we are at 80%. So that's a very shallow booking window, and that is transient business. That is road warrior, weekend warrior business, where there is absolutely zero corporate travel going on, close to zero. There is a lot of people, as Mike said, from our feeder markets. And so that trend has happened the last few weeks. It's encouraging. Last weekend was move-in for SFA, and it was we were a very busy, bustling property, as were the other properties on South Street. So those are very encouraging signs. But it is transient travel, which is our wheelhouse, so to speak. We won't corporate, as I said, won't come back this year. Convention is not forecasted to come back either. But if we focus on what we can affect, and that's these our feeder markets, I think that we will find some success there. So it was very encouraging for me, and for in both positions. So it was nice to see downtown busy and having traffic issues again. That on North Street, that was awesome. So I look for the CVB visitor center to see a lot more guests with this fall. So thank you all for your efforts.
John, on that, there's something I didn't really know the best place to slip this into the meeting. I do want to say I 100% agree with what y'all are saying on somebody that thinks that they just want to stay in Nacogdoches for come by and see one thing they get here in real life. You know, we have enough to justify a day and a half, and I think you are going to see more of that. We are on the verge of losing our Cole Art Center downtown. I'm not sure if this is anything anybody would be on anybody else's radar. Probably a few of you, but mostly the people who aren't here because they're SFA. But what happened was, among all of the budgetary cuts that are being made at SFA, very understandably, they had to make the hard decision that they didn't have the money to staff the Cole Art Center. So I kind of rushed in there and got a dialogue going with Dr. Bullard, and then we passed it on to Buddy Himes, where they are tentatively, pending some legal research and what have you, going to allow us to raise money for the staff positions there and for the programs there. And to that end, we've almost raised a year of funding to keep the gallery director on board and to keep the programs that we have planned going. That's something that we're actively doing. If y'all are interested in that, obviously I'm not trying to make a pitch here for them, but just let you know that that's what we're doing, because I think that the Cole Art Center is a really important part of our downtown, and I think it's a really important part of our light tourism portfolio. And so, you know, and as a board member and somebody who's my son here over the last 9 years, it was really concerning to me. I don't know that there's any action for us to take here, or I just wanted to merely let y'all know about it because they're our down the street neighbor, and I also feel that they're an important part of our tourism portfolio. So I'm working to raise money to do that. If any of y'all have any questions about that, you can seek me out outside of the meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you, Damon. And
John,
Main Street is a robust downtown, is a robust Nacogdoches. So, and we are going to work with Main Street on some things as well. And we center, a lot of our things are centered on downtown. So having those doors open downtown is important to us. So we have things for our visitors to want to come back and experience again and again. Is there any other reports? I think that was the last of them, correct?
Real quick,
Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
So for Sail on the Trail weekend and just in general, we made some really cute masks to sell, and they've actually been selling pretty well. So I just wanted to show y'all what we have. It says, "I'm smiling behind the mask," and "Spread love, not germs." So we have those for $8. Come going.
All right.
all right,
Thank
John,
you. All proceeds go to CVB. Yeah. Yes, sir.
you had mentioned the success that you've had this past week with the hotel there. What about the other hotels in town?
I don't have numbers for them, but I do drive past every one of them every day, and I can tell you that their parking lots were full as well. And
Good.
and I have seen an increase in traffic in the South Side hotels in particular, which is encouraging. And so and we did not go over it, but the STAR report, the Smith Travel report that we received that tells us about our market, was better. Wasn't real good, but we did make improvement on the percent where we're down. I believe it was 38% down year over year for the month, whereas the month before we were 45% down. So
Okay.
there is a little bit of that light's peeking through at the end of the tunnel. So hopefully now we'll continue that trend in the fall. So I'm just going to stay positive, and it was encouraging. It is encouraging, and we're gonna continue to move forward.
Good.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else? So with nothing else, I will set the next date and time to be determined, because it will be a special session that we will have next to go over the budget. So please look for the emails, and we will contact y'all on when we will have the special session that we'll need to have for the budget, and it will be fairly soon. So keep a lookout for that. And with nothing else, I'll call the meeting to adjourn.